everyone, and welcome. I am so excited that we are here live streaming with you all today. I just want to say good afternoon and happy Wednesday. I want to thank each and every one of you who are tuning in live, watching this on your own time. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, and my name is Krumpos, and I have the honor of being the person to host you for today's session. And I'm also the Director of Integration at Not My Kid, which is a local organization here in Arizona. We're a nonprofit that serves youth and families all throughout the state. Before we get started, I really want to acknowledge that mental health is an everflow. It is constantly changing in our lives as we experience different levels of stress, both positive and negative. Stress, along with many factors, can impact our mental health and what I like to call our mental well-being. I want to emphasize that while we're here to talk about mental health and mental health awareness, there is a difference between mental health and mental illness. Mental health is something that each and every one of us navigate in our daily lives. Mental illness, on the other hand, does impact 1 out of every 5 children with different disorders such as anxiety, depression, ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, if we want to get specific, autism, and so much more. And while this does impact 1 out of every 5 kids, this also impacts adults as well. Many adults out there are navigating their daily lives as they have mental health and mental illness as well. I encourage individuals that if you are experiencing something your mental health and it is on that line of mental illness and it's impacting your daily lives, to utilize the resources that I'm going to provide you at the end and to ask for help. Reach out to your community and those who can support you as you navigate that as well. When it comes to mental health, I want us to all be reminded that mental health is part of being human. Every human is navigating their journey of mental health and well-being. If I was to walk down the road with a broken leg or have this external injury that everyone can see, people might stop and ask me for if they can help me, if they can help me carry my groceries, or if they can do something to make my life just a little bit easier as I navigate that physical injury. Well, mental health is just important. Our mental health is something that we should be able to protect through healthy behaviors, such as moving our bodies, eating wholesome foods, being in community, being around those who bring us joy, and doing things that we love. The only difference is we don't see it on the outside. So you may not see what I'm internally feeling, and I may be struggling. I might feel debilitated in a way where I have a broken leg, but it's internal in my mind and how I'm navigating my day through that stress and those major events. I think in general, as humans in our lives, we seek harmony and we seek balance. I like to think of harmony and balance through our lives similar to the cells in our bodies. We have positive and we have negative cells that are all seeking equilibrium. But the cells in our body, once they find the equilibrium, they die. And within life, the reality is we're not going to have harmony all the time. We're not going to find balance. What we're going to have is we're going to have this everflow. We're going to have those highs and we're going to have those lows. And how we respond to those lows is really where we hold our power as individuals and how we protect our own mental health and our own well-being. Mental health does not mean that we are weak. It is not something that we should be shameful of. It isn't fake news. This is real. And I want to remind you, it's truly okay to not be okay. We are going to have days where we show up with 10% of ourselves, and we need to know that that is 100% of what we can give that day. And that is honoring the boundaries with our own mental health and our own well-being. We might have other days where we show up 100%. Good energy, feeling good, navigating our life, everything is flowing. And the reality is not every day is going to be that way. And so once again, just giving yourself that grace to know that it's okay to not be okay. So how do we protect our mental health? I think this is really important too when we're talking about mental health, mental illness, and our own selves. I like to think of my mental health as my island. What am I going to allow on my island each and every day? Am I going to allow a lot of fear or negative content? Am I going to allow people who don't bring me joy on my island? Probably not. My island might be that day where I'm just in my house. I light some candles, I eat some good food, or it might be I'm out in the community exerting energy that I have the space and capacity to do so. So it's going to depend on the day, but I think it's really important that you set boundaries to protect your mental health, whatever that may mean to you. Some great ways you can protect yourself and your kids as well is by holding and building protective factors. So what is a protective factor? When I think of protective factors in my life, those are things that help encourage me to be my best self, to be resilient. Those are the things that I lean on when I am struggling in my own mental health experiences. And through our lives, you're going to see that they change. People might change, values might change, beliefs might change. And the important piece is to find your protective factors and to really include those into your day to day. So some examples: good physical and mental health. How are you taking care of your physical health? How are you taking care of your mental health? If each day you can wake up and write down what are 3 things that are in my control today, whether it's 3 things you can do to protect that piece of your island, 3 things you can do to look out for your physical or mental health, what is within your control that you can try and accomplish in that day? I know for myself, getting sunshine. I live in the beautiful state of Arizona where we get lots of sunshine. I also am a really active person, and I can feel in my mental health, if I'm not moving my body, it impacts me emotionally. And so making sure that I'm getting movement. I'm also, I don't know if I'm naturally dehydrated or I just really love water, but at the end of the day, I know that it makes a difference. If I'm not actively drinking enough water or, nurturing my body in that way, I don't feel very well in myself and in my soul. So taking care of your physical and emotional health. Also, a willingness to seek help. On those days where you're struggling, who can you reach out to? Who are your people that you can go to for support? And being able to say, I'm struggling today. Do you have some time? And being able to hold that space honestly, or seeking professional help. If you feel like your daily life is being impacted, that's where we look into where mental health crosses into mental illness and how important it is to get that professional help as well. Also, self-soothing and coping skills. What are those skills that we have to help us in those moments of stress? As I mentioned in the beginning, we have good stress and we have negative stress. A good stress might be, I just started a new job, or I moved and it's exciting and there's these new opportunities, something to be celebrated. But also with that, there can be some stress, there can be some anxiety, some nerves, some other feelings and big emotions that we're navigating. So what do we do to process those emotions? And then when negative stress, when things that are more traumatic or hurtful that might happen to us, how are we navigating that emotional experience as well? Another example of ways you can protect your peace is having supportive people in your life, and that whether that is your family, and I want to say that lightly because I think family is what you make it. I am in an area where I don't have a lot of maybe like cousins or aunties or my mom and dad aren't here, those types of family traditionally, but I have family and I've been able to create that family for myself. So I know in times where I'm struggling, where's my community? Where do I feel safe? So friends, family, maybe even religious beliefs and values, that could be something as well. If that is a protective factor for you, to go ahead and tap into those areas where you feel you're supported and you're loved. Or maybe there's a community group. If you like to dance or sing or have a musical instrument, where is it within your community that you are going to have healthy surroundings, healthy individuals that just help contribute to the best person that you are? Another important protective factor is our just health and our mental health care. What does it look like? Again, for myself, am I checking all the boxes just like I do with my kids? Are there annual dentist, or I think that's every 6 months, but regardless, those moments where they need to go see the dentist, their annual checkups with their pediatrician, I'm great. And on top of those things, for myself, am I doing that? Who are our providers? Who is it in our corner? What does our access look like? And how do we increase that access or advocate for increased access to those things? So we also are taking care of the physical, emotional, and mental health of ourselves. And then where are we finding opportunities for our kids and for ourselves to contribute? This is a huge when it comes to community and a protective factor of how are we contributing to our community? How are we giving back? How do we show up in one way to support not only ourselves, but to support others in our community as well? And with that, I want to close for protective factors, a sense of belonging as well. I think it's really important that regardless of where your community is or who is in your community, do you feel a sense of belonging? And when we feel a sense of belonging, that increases our protective factors and really decreases what we call risk factors. Our risk factors are something that can put us into a place of deeper mental health or mental illness and contribute to some of those negative stress and negative feelings that we walk through in our lives. With some resources, I have a couple activities that we're going to do together, just so it's something quick that you can take home with you today and use in your daily life. And then, of course, you can reach out to us at notmykid.org. If you're watching us on Facebook, you know how to find us on social media. We're also active on Instagram. So that's a great resource here in the state of Arizona. If you're calling in from other places, which I think a couple people are, I want to encourage you as well to know who's in your community, who are those resources, how can you be involved, how can you reach out for help, who's in your corner. Our first activity is box breathing. So when we do our box breathing, I like to think of drawing a box with my breath. So when we go up, we're going to count to 4. We're going to inhale. I'm going to model it first, and then we'll do it together. So you're going to inhale and count up to 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold, and repeat. So if you want to try that with me, we're going to do this together. Ready? Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. One more time. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Perfect. I'm sure you champion that. I forgot to exhale almost on the second one, so that would have been bad. Get those exhales out. The other resource that I want to encourage you to do and to just hold this true to yourself as you navigate your day to day, and that is to find and if you have a pen and paper, I would love for you to join me in this. I am going to do this as well. This is an activity I regularly do because it changes sometimes depending on what we're feeling. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take note of, when I am struggling, what is one thing I can tell myself, whether it is words of encouragement, words of affirmation, words of love, your mantra, like whatever it is for you. I personally have to remind myself, gentle, gentle. Just be gentle on my soul. Be gentle on myself, as I know not always I'm going to be my best self or show up my best. And that is my own mental health journey. So take a couple seconds and write down, what is one thing that you can tell yourself when you're struggling. I wrote down a second one today, and it's not that serious. There's moments in my life where I'm running late to kids drop off and all these activities, and I can find myself experiencing this level of stress or anxiety that it's really not that serious. They're 6 and 3. If they're a couple minutes late, it's going to be okay. So just what moments is it not that serious that maybe you can let go? Okay, your second one. It is one person that you can talk to. So when you're struggling, who is a person in your life that you trust, that you respect, that you love, that you know is a safe person to talk to? I'll share. I wrote my sister. My sister is great, just soul person and human who, I'll give a quick example. The other day I called her, I was like, oh, I want to share this thing with you. And I was like, actually, I don't know if I want to talk about it. And instead of her pushing me or saying, just come on, like, let's talk about it, she said, okay, that's fine. We don't need to talk about it. But if you do, you know, I'm here. And just that permission to set those boundaries for myself made me feel really good to know that when I am ready to talk, she's there. And if I'm not, that's cool too. So I encourage you to really reflect, who do you have to talk to? And if you don't feel like you have somebody that fills that spot, again, that's a great space and a reflection moment to reach out. It's time to reach out, build up that community. Again, whether it's here at Not My Kid in Arizona, or it's other community organizations or other people within spaces you belong to, build up those people that you trust so you know who you can turn to. And then the last one is, what is one thing that you can do? So if you're in a meeting, or if you are about to go step into a class, or depending on what you're navigating and you need a moment, what is one thing that is obtainable to you? I might not be able to just jump on a plane today and go travel and take a week vacation on a beach somewhere, but I can go for a quick walk outside and get some sunshine. I can drink some water. A lot of times me, it's food and water. I forget to do those things and then I become cranky. So, or take a nap. Like, what is one thing that you can do to help reset yourself and bring some calm to your life? I wrote down, we have these really delicious homemade, I like to call them healthy popsicles. And I just feel it's cold. It's really warm here right now. So just having one of those throughout my day, I don't feel guilty about it. And also it's just a good reset for myself. So the popsicle day for me. I hope you all were able to find some value in that. I hope this is something you continue to reflect on. Again, I just want to encourage, if this is something you're struggling with as far as it's impacting your daily life in a negative way, please do reach out. Mental health is so important. It's sacred to us. It's something that not everybody sees, but each and every one of us feels. And to acknowledge the need for protection and for the willingness to ask for help, all those things are really critical as we navigate this human experience we are all on together. You can find us again at notmykid.org. My name is Lane. Reach out to anyone on our team. We have lots of resources on our website, and then also here on our Facebook. So if you're not already following us, please do. We will be hosting this for the next 2 upcoming Wednesdays at the same time. Next week, this week is going to be focused on youth. From a youth's perspective, what does mental health look like? And then from an adult perspective, what does that journey look like as you're navigating being a parent, maybe with your own mental health and parenting a kid with their own mental health as well. Um, we also tonight have at 5 o'clock our mental health segment that is going to be in Spanish, offered by Elena, and she is just phenomenal. You'll love every second of that. So if you are Spanish speaking or have someone in your life who really could benefit, please tune in and join her as she shares great pieces of knowledge with you all. And thank you so much. We hope you have a great day. Happy May Mental Health. Take care of yourself.